50 episodes of comics covered. Welcome
to the machine. That's a Pink Floyd song.
Welcome to the machine?
Yeah, welcome my son to the machine.
You know what's just as impressive as the famous band Pink Floyd is that we, Comics Covered, have reached 50 episodes, landmark number 50.
Oh yes. It's wonderful. And I was wondering, because like we're so close to DC's big magical number 52, that I was wondering, is it just some random guy in the marketing department for DC that like decided 52 was based off the years? Is it based off that series that I read recently? I have no idea. Was it before the series?
I feel like it must be somehow from the book 52.
Isn't that kind of weird though? One series like did this whole thing, and now they're still doing 52 10 years later.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I could be wrong on that. And 52 as an important number in the DC universe could have predated that, because they've made it seem super important since then. Like, it's like the number of universes and
that feels
all of that.
Super random to me, by the way. That there are just 52 universes.
No, I love how it's like, it's very specific, and like, it gives it this a little bit of flavor in that like it feels real to me because it's not like this weird even number. It's like, for some reason, some kind of scientific reason, it's exactly 52.
By the way, Doug, 52 is an even number.
What did I say?
You said 52 isn't this even number.
No, I mean like a
100.
I mean, yeah, like a 10 or
50.
Whatever. Yeah,
you just have two more.
Yeah.
There's an Earth Zero though. So does that mean there's 53 universes, or is there not a 52nd universe then?
Well. They've gone back and forth on whether or not there is an Earth Zero.
Really?
Yeah, It's changed. If you're talking about like, because you just read Multiversity,
I did.
Grant Morrison said that there is an Earth Zero, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's is Earth Zero the regular DCU?
No, I don't believe so. I thought Earth Zero is like there's some universe that's supposed to be like our Earth.
I think that's Earth Zero.
I thought that's Earth Zero / Earth Prime.
Yeah. But yeah, in that book, it's Earth Zero, and then there are 51.
Okay.
It goes up to 51. There is not a 52.
I'll take that. There should be, though. I'm sorry. Earth 52 should be.
I would much prefer it was 1 through 52.
I don't know.
By the way, my dog is under Jack's chair right now. If you hear any click-clacking, that's my dog.
Oh, by the way, we're in the same place.
Oh, shit. We didn't even mention that. Rare occurrence. Jack lives in California. I live in Minnesota.
Yes.
So we usually record this show via the internet.
A series of tubes, mind you.
A series of tubes. So if it seems like we're just a little bit more in sync and not talking over each other, which we probably still will.
Yeah.
For sure. There should be less weirdness, but also so much more charisma, so much more energy in the room.
Yeah, Doug's putting his hands by his head right now.
Yeah, Jack can see my wild gesticulating.
Wow.
Which, fun fact for anybody who doesn't see me, while I'm recording like people normally do.
Yeah.
I gesticulate wildly at all times. So just imagine me doing that when I talk.
Wow. Do you really like move around a lot?
Well, not like I don't make a point of it,
okay.
But in actually all seriousness, joking aside, those are the same thing. What I just said. I find it does help like your emoting and your vocal kind of read, like how you sound if you kind of act things out a little bit. If you get into it,
I can see that. Okay. Well, yeah, we're at 50 episodes, though, so that's pretty cool. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
We wanted to start off and talk about this exciting new thing, though, that we're going to do for our kind of, year anniversary, 50 episodes sort of thing. Because 50 episodes in a year long doesn't really juncture.
Yeah, did we mention when our anniversary is?
Next week.
Yeah, so technically, it's 50 episodes this week, and next week is as close as we can get to an anniversary episode. We've been doing the show for just under a year as of this recording.
Yeah.
As part of the celebration
It'll be
of all
November
things
18th next week.
The part of the celebration of 1 year of Comics Covered / patreon.com/50 episodes. Yeah, we're doing a special contest.
A giveaway.
A piece of toast.
Oh, Bobby Moynihan.
Bobby Moynihan.
I watched Rick and Morty.
So we're going to be doing a giveaway through our social media channels. So we have two major social media platforms, Facebook and Twitter. It's facebook.com/comicscovered and at comicscovered on Twitter.
We have not quite gotten our Snapchat up and running, but Doug is working tirelessly on his dick pics.
Yep. So be sure to tune in for that. Anyways, so yeah, the post is going to be going up sometime today. This will come out on Sunday, so it'll come out or have come out sometime on Sunday. And basically, we are giving away a copy of Thanos Wins by Donny Cates. We were thinking about like what is a book that like we both read in real time on the show, like as we were doing the show and talked about as kind of a mainstay that we always loved and like always talked about like how much we loved it.
One thing about Thanos Wins though is that they kind of give away the ending, don't they? For the entire Marvel universe.
Yeah, they spoil the ending of the Marvel universe.
Wow. It's just terrible of them. Like DC had that whole wedding thing, and now this with Marvel, like what are they trying to do here?
Come on.
Corporate.
Hashtag do better Marvel.
Yes.
So we're giving away a trade paperback of that book that was a favorite of ours this year when it came out. Or was that this year? Was that end of last year? Anyways, it was within our year of doing the show.
Yeah, it was.
Within our 50 episodes.
Which is basically this year. We started at the end of November.
In any case.
Thank you.
In any case. So, so that is by Donny Cates, Jeff Shaw, Antonio Fabella, and definitely a favorite of ours. If you want to get a copy of that book, you need to do two things, which is you need to follow us on your social media platform of choice, either Facebook or Twitter. And then also on that platform, you need to share the contest post that we're going to be putting up. It's going to have an image of the book, and it's going to have the rules, and it's just going to say, like, share this and follow us to win this book. Yeah. So do those two things. We're going to cross-reference who both follows us and has shared the post, shared, retweeted, whatever, on either one of those, and we'll make a list. And next week on the show, you have to do this by midnight on Friday. What is the date?
Friday would be like the 15th, right? No, the 15th. Friday, November 15th.
Friday, November 16th.
16th, sorry.
Okay. So midnight Friday, November 16th is the deadline to do those things. We will make a list at that point. Mm-hmm. And then on our show that Sunday, we are going to pick a person at random to win the book.
We're doing the old school names in a hat, yes?
We will have a physical hat that we will definitely pull these names from. There'll be a drum roll. There will be none of these things.
Drum roll?
We could do a drum roll. We're going to be doing it over the internet, so it's not going to be a very synchronized drum roll.
Yeah.
Not that I don't know that a drum roll in person would be very synchronized. Anyways, so we're going to pick a winner, and we'll send you a message on whichever platform you used. Mm-hmm. / do some sort of post, maybe, probably.
Yeah.
Anyway, case. We'll get a hold of you, let you know that you won, and ask you for your information so we can send it to you.
Maybe we'll get a hold of them before, just in case, like, I don't know, like, sharing people's names over, like, Facebook and Twitter. I guess it's literally social media. So, like, your name is out there anyways, but I don't know if that matters to people. You know what I mean? We'll send you a message before we make a post with your name in it, basically.
Well, yes. Well,
I don't know. People don't always do that, right?
Yeah, we won't put you on blast. But, we'll check in with the person. But anyways, so that's something. That's very exciting.
You'll hear about it on the post as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. Again, we've been doing this for 50 episodes, which it feels monumental.
It does.
Do you feel like, in the 50 episodes we've been doing this almost a year, how has doing this show kind of like affected your comics reading habit? That's a bad question. That's more of a question for me, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, how has doing this show kind of brought you into comics, or like
my view of entertainment in general, I feel like has changed in a way, because like I never read for fun at all. And
like books or comics?
Books really comics at all, unless it was like through school. And like this kind of, I never had a stigma against comics. I read them off and on. Like Doug here would lend me random shit, and I would read it, and I'd be like, okay, cool. Or like, I don't really know what the fuck's going on. But it would always be really cool. But like, I feel like the main thing, and I feel like we talked about this early in the show, one of the main things that really has changed in how I read comics, because of like how much we've talked about it and how much I'm more aware of the medium, is the art and how I look at it and how I can appreciate the way it tells stories just through the art. Like we read, one of the first things we read was Captain America by Chris Samney and Mark Waid. And that was a really, like, I remember a specific time we did our sequence or panel of the week when we were doing that.
R.I.P.
He picked this one sequence where Captain America was changing from regular clothes into his Captain America clothes. And he told me that, and I was like, okay, I don't really get it. I don't get why this is like a big deal at all. But, as we kept reading that was in the first issue of their run. And as we kept reading that series, and as I kept reading Chris Samney, Mark Waid's Black Widow, which I also read outside of our weeklies, I kind of got that this isn't a normal thing in comics where like it's just pictures and it tells like a very succinct moments with just pictures, and it doesn't need anything other than that. And it's things like that I really have come to appreciate. And even more so, like, I know things like hatching now, cross-hatching. I still don't know if it's hatching or cross-hatching.
It's cross-hatching, but you could just call it hatching.
Hatching is short slang?
It's easier to say.
Okay.
So yes.
Okay. But like, I know what that is now. I know like the difference between like what an artist does, pencil or inker, and what like a colorist does. Like, I would never be aware of these things. I would be like, okay, this person's doing the art, so that's like the art, and this person's doing the writing, so this writing. Even the lettering. Like, it's just amazing to me now to be aware of like all these different people's jobs, and like all these people can put out good work independent of the others in terms of like writing, penciling, inking, and coloring even. Because, as we just said, Antonio Fabela needs to be included on Thanos credits because those colors are amazing. And every time he does colors, I feel like I'm looking at them and being like, ugh.
Yeah, he's excellent.
He's wonderful. Like him and like Dave Stewart, he does art and colors sometimes.
He's a colorist.
He's a colorist. But like Dave Stewart and he's doing a lot of stuff with Jeff Lemire, Black Hammer. I think he also does colors on Gideon Falls.
Yes, he does.
Which is crazy because they're so different.
Yeah.
But like being aware, it's just an awareness thing. And like, and awareness is really how you really become appreciative of a medium, especially like this, because there's so much going into each little thing. It's amazing that it comes out every month, honestly. It's crazy, which sometimes it doesn't, but it makes sense.
Yeah. They say, Jack, a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Wow. Tell that to Tomasi on his Spy Seal run. It's terrible. Sorry, it's not terrible. Tomasi's fine. I just didn't like Spy Seal.
I don't think that was Tomasi.
It was.
Rich. Oh, I'm thinking, wait. Tommaso.
Sorry, Tommaso's a wrestler also, Tommaso Ciampa, so I always mix it up.
Tomasi
is the guy that did Superman.
He did Superman. He's doing the upcoming Detective Comics run. Anyway, yeah, he is a DC guy. You're thinking of Rich Tommaso.
Who's the guy that did the art for this most previous Black Hammer?
Rich Tommaso, right?
That was Tommaso. Okay, sorry, I'm bringing up random shit. In any case, my whole deal is awareness. And I think it's awesome that I can be aware of so many different parts of a comic that even if I don't necessarily like the writing of something, I can be aware that the art is fucking awesome, aka Justice League, currently. But yeah, I think that's about it. But Doug, you've grown through this experience too, because this is new.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm interested to see, like, because I always thought that you were reading comics up the ass, and they're all over the place.
Just directly up the ass.
Yes.
I rolled them into a tube and just funneled them right up there.
Like, how people put alcohol in a tampon and they put it up?
Do they?
There are definitely sororities that do that. Maybe not sororities, because they're like, whatever, I don't know. Girls do that. Okay, if you're a girl...
we're making broad generalizations now.
Not girls do that. Some girls, I'm sure, have done that in the past. There is at least one girl who has done that in the past.
Okay, fair.
Am I wrong?
Probably.
Okay. Doug, how has this podcast changed the way you read comics or any sort of awareness of something? I don't know. Yeah. Probably not awareness, but tell me.
I mean, I think it has made me more kind of aware of or not even necessarily aware, but more kind of critical. I think more about the difference, in how is specifically the writing in this? How is specifically the art in this? And I'm I've always kind of had, or for a long time, I've kind of had that kind of media critical brain because I went to school for film, so I took a lot of film classes, so I've had to do a lot of media criticism stuff. In papers and stuff. So I've always got kind of that gear in my brain. I've always shifted to that kind of gear in my brain when I'm consuming stuff. But I do think having an outlet to just talk about this stuff and specifically break down what worked in this book, what didn't work in this book, has helped me to kind of I feel like it has helped me to appreciate books that succeed on very specific levels that don't necessarily succeed on every level. I if a book has beautiful art, I feel like I'm generally more able now to appreciate a book just for the art and just be I'm not here for the writing, But
that's interesting because at the beginning of the show, I remember asking you, is there any book that you've ever read that was just for the art? And you were not really. I kind of based it off the writer.
Yeah, I mean, I still probably generally lean more towards, I'm looking for good stories.
Yeah.
Which, the art definitely plays into that. Storytelling, the visual part of that is integral to comics. So, you definitely need a good artist to portray that. But I do think, I'm not necessarily specifically talking about art. There's also a writing or a coloring or whatever side to this, but I feel I'm able to better appreciate the specific parts of the book. I'm also we're not doing the panel or sequence of the week thing anymore, but not at least in a specific format. But I have doing that for a while, and then just talking about specific moments and stuff we like in books has made me kind of more aware of oh, that's a moment in this that was really good, and that kind of stuff can make a book worth it. And yeah, I really I've been reading comics for a while, not my whole life, but I've been reading comics since, for God, has it been?
It's more than 10 years, I think.
Yeah, it's been more than 10 years.
2006, 12 years or something?
It was in high school. So, yeah, so it's been around 10 years-ish, probably since I started reading comics regularly. And yeah, and I more or less used this show to force Jack into reading comics.
But
regularly. But that was the kind of we got over a little bit of a hump just before starting the show, where I got you to read a couple things. And
a couple things. I read an entire run of Scott Snyder's Batman.
Yeah, but I had finally kind of gotten you to take a little bit of the leap, and this was kind of my way to get you to read weekly comics regularly, and give us a place to talk about it. Because I don't really have any friends who read comics, and so that was kind of at least the motivation for trying to do this whole thing.
Well, because you have our friends at Mashing Buttons, but they don't even read that much regularly.
No, they'll read collected runs or whatever. They're big comics fans, but they're not keeping up regularly. And I wanted a friend to be able to talk about holy shit, did you read the latest Mr. Miracle? It's so good, or whatever,
You selfish bastard.
Yeah, and so just I think that has been just a great outlet to just kind of get my thoughts out about all this stuff that I didn't have before, for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
What would you say is like, is there any book that you wouldn't have really given a chance that you gave a chance because of this show?
I definitely think, it's interesting. My this is, you don't have anything to compare it to because you weren't reading comics before the show.
Yeah.
But like my habits in terms of what books I pick up and keep reading are definitely super different than they were before the show, because there's always this pressure of like, well, Jack's still reading it. Jack loves this book. I maybe would have dropped in Immortal Hulk early on.
Okay.
After like the like maybe even the first issue. I probably wouldn't have even. I like thought it was okay.
Yeah.
I love that book now, but like I probably wouldn't have kept reading it if you weren't reading it. You know? And because there was that kind of not like peer pressure, but like there was that impetus because like you really love it and I had a different relationship to it, and so it's interesting to compare and like
I think so. Yeah, definitely
keep up on it and like be able to say what our individual takes on it are.
Definitely. What? No, yeah, I'm good. Sorry. Just so you know, I just got a flat tire, so I'm trying to do logistical stuff too. So Doug's looking at me like, "Are you okay? Can we keep going?" But yeah, we're good. No, specifically with Immortal Hulk though, like I don't know why I liked it so much. I thought it was great, and I liked that we disagree on it. But I remember at some points like you didn't necessarily want to disagree or talk about how much you disagreed about stuff because you're afraid to alienate people, right?
Well, no, it's more that just like I think some of that was more just that like I don't want to like make the show about like railing on books that we don't like.
Yeah,
because like it's all taste, and like I'd like to highlight the stuff that we like, and so I was kind of like. But I don't know. I think there is a place for like, definitely like criticizing a book for its flaws. I just don't want to I don't want to make it a hate fest.
Mm-hmm.
But
so since you brought up Immortal Hulk, do you want to talk about like some specific books going in? Because we have that to this week, and I wanted to ask because this week was kind of a turning point
for Immortal Hulk specifically,
and for you, Immortal Hulk too.
Yeah, I've really liked the last few issues.
Even last issue, you were like, I still don't know why you like this book so much.
Well, okay, it's not that like I have hated any of the recent issues, but it's just like you have just glowing praise about this book in a way that like I like this. I've liked this book for a while. Some issues are really, really good, and I love them, and other issues are like. Okay, that's fine. And every time an issue comes out, you're like, "Oh my god, it's so amazing!" And I'm just like, just slightly mystified by exactly what it is that like you're really latching onto that I'm not.
The thing in last issue in Immortal Hulk. By the way, spoilers, kind of.
Are we going into weekly book talk then?
I mean, you kind of brought this up naturally, so
we're going to talk about our weekly comics.
Yeah, there we go. So last issue of Immortal Hulk was just a fight scene between between Hulk and the Avengers. Not like the fight scene in Sentry, which I thought it was going to be, just the Hulk kicking their ass, but it wasn't. Yeah. They defeated him with many means. They had a giant laser fucking just get him, but I just thought like it was an amazingly done fight scene with a lot of really great moments, and with an emotional moment between Jennifer Walters and Bruce Banner that I thought was really nice to like go in the middle of it. I thought it was nice, like reactions between all of them. I don't know. Maybe a lot of the reason why I liked it was because Avengers is kind of being a little bit lower in my opinion these days, and I really liked how they were written in that fight scene. Mm-hmm. So that could have been an influence for sure. And I also thought the reveal at the end of the Hulk being kept into many different jars was like getting into that more body horror kind of aspect that I was like, oh shit, this is gonna get.
Which is what this issue specifically, number 8, leaned into hardcore, and I loved that.
Go into that.
So this issue, Immortal Hulk, Al Ewing and Joe Bennett on art. So basically the Hulk has been captured, and the thing in this book is that the Hulk is basically immortal. They've never really explained what's different now than it was before, but
maybe it's not different. Maybe they just never tested it.
But it is. Because it's like they've like set this very specific news. That's one of the things that's always kind of confused me a little bit about this book. It works really well in this book, but they've never really explained why the rules for Hulk are different now.
Yeah.
He only changes at night, and specifically changes at night, and then when the sun comes up, changes back.
It's a little weird.
Which works, but I don't know why it's different.
Yeah, it is a little weird. It's a werewolf kind of thing.
It is like a werewolf thing, and it's not about his anger. And
I will say the anger thing kind of bothers me that they're not leading into that more so.
Anyways, so they've captured him. They've cut him into all these pieces. They've dissected him into like they've got his head in a jar. They've got all his body parts in jars and on shelves, and they're researching him to see like what are the limits, and kind of what they find is like when the body parts are separated, they're like dead, quote unquote. But then when they move them closer together, like they move a heart they move it like that they've cut in half towards the room where the rest of his body parts are. I assume specifically his head. I don't know. And it starts beating once it gets close. So they play a lot with kind of like figuring out what the rules are here for the Hulk. And I really like this issue. I think I go back and forth on kind of my relationship with the tone of this series, but when I can put aside the fact that it's Hulk, when I can put aside the fact that this is a character who I have an existing relationship with, I think this is a really good horror book. Yeah. It's a really good horror book, and sometimes I have issues with kind of what they're doing with
the general character of the Hulk,
of the Hulk, but like it works really well as this this sci-fi horror book, but not even sci-fi. It's almost more fantasy in a lot of ways. The rules in which the Hulk works now are almost more kind of like a werewolf story.
It's a monster movie,
it's a monster story, I really liked this issue. I thought it was a really good kind of him being cut into this fucking part where he finally reassembles.
This page was just, I love like just all this like stuff, him like reassembling over this guy and him just like screaming out like, God, I don't want to do this. I'm going to live inside you now. Like, I don't even know what this means. What does this mean?
I think for all intents and purposes, he has basically eaten him.
That's fucked.
He's inside of his body. He has absorbed him into him. God. It's fucked up. Anyways, so the body parts all come together and like stitch themselves together in this weird muck-like way.
Because he breaks out by just snapping his fingers.
He finally realizes he can. I guess he could the whole time was the point.
He could the whole time. He was just waiting to see if they could learn anything about him that he could learn.
And then he snaps and it like shatters the glass around his hand. That snap probably sounded great on audio. Yeah. Oh boy.
Is that not good?
It's probably going to be a big old click in the audio.
Okay, sorry.
Anyways.
It's just this thing, and we're fine. We're looking at the levels.
What did you think of this issue?
I loved it. I thought it was great. I think it had a great, I really like it when this series is doing serialized storytelling, I think, better than when it's doing like the story by story that it was doing the first few issues.
Yeah.
But I like that too. I like that they were doing like different art styles and different styles of writing. But now that we're in like the series, I think it's really, really cool. And how like, how they're making him a monster, how they're making him like this really intense, like, how do we deal with this shit? And then thinking that they have it here, it almost reminds me of like Alien in a way too. Because like the corporations always think they can control the alien and study it, but it's gonna get out.
Yeah.
When you fuck with Alien, it fucks with you. And when you fuck with Hulk, he fucks with you. So
he hulks with you.
He hulks with you. So I don't know. I really like that they're setting up like gamma flights, which is silly but kind of funny.
Yeah.
And this guy is heading it up, and that they're gonna have a relationship. I just feel like there are a lot of toes. That's the guy.
I know. It's Sasquatch. I don't know that I made the connection. He was wearing a Captain Marvel shirt here.
I didn't make that connection either. Isn't that like her like Alpha Flight thing though? It's not specifically her.
No, that's just her costume.
Oh, it is? Okay.
I don't think Alpha Flight is wearing like Captain Marvel outfits. Although he has changed into it after he's wearing what I assume is more an Alpha Flight uniform here. I'm not familiar.
Maybe it's the new Gamma Flight outfits. It should be green, though. That's the color.
No, he's just wearing like a Captain America, like you or I would like go to a convention and buy a long sleeve shirt that is a Captain America or not Captain Marvel shirt.
Yeah, no, definitely. But like this kind of shit, this art, like at points, just like it really delves into the body horror of it when he's changing this panel where he's changing from the Hulk into Bruce Banner during the day. It looks terrible, but it looks amazing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
one of the things that has really grown on me over the course of the series is Joe Bennett's art. I was a little bit unsure of it at first, just because I don't know, something about it stylistically wasn't quite connecting with me.
Yeah.
But over time, as I've kind of gotten to know like what he's good at, which I think is especially these kind of really body horror-esque or like just when it leans into the horror stuff, I think he's really effective. And I totally get why he's the main artist on this book.
Yeah.
And I've missed him when he has not been on issues lately.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I feel like he'll be, I don't know. I feel like now we're doing more serialized stuff. Hopefully they'll keep him on like more regularly. But who knows? Do you want to go into it? Because I also liked Hulk's presence in Marvel Knights, another one of our books. And you realize his presence, right?
Yes.
His very good presence. Because like in Marvel Knights, so Marvel Knights is this new series, completely new, not a 20th anniversary. No. It's the 20th anniversary of Marvel Knights, which was an old, I'm talking out of my ass. It's an old series with a bunch of different like characters. It was kind of
a line of comics in Marvel.
Okay. Like an imprint?
Yes. I believe it was an imprint. So yeah, it was a bunch of series about specific characters. Daredevil, Black Panther had a series, Punisher, so kind of generally I think the idea was like more ground level characters. Although I think some characters I think the Hulk might have had one. I don't remember. Anyways, I think that was the general kind of ethos behind it, and just kind of telling stories that weren't super connected to continuity. That were kind of a bit more modern for a bit more mature audiences. So that was one of the things that kind of like brought in some of the modern kind of storytelling techniques at Marvel. And this is a book, 20th anniversary. It's written by Donny Cates, and
you still don't know what he's doing.
The art is very confusing to me.
Oh, really?
It wasn't to you probably because you've never read a book drawn by Travel Foreman.
No.
I think the huge difference here is that he is not inking himself, and he has an inker, and the inker is making his art look very traditional comic book in a lot of ways.
Okay.
His art does not normally really look like this unless he's doing a different style for this.
Interesting.
He's a lot more kind of weird, experimental. He did most of Jeff Lemire's run on Animal Man is mostly how I know him.
Okay.
I'm trying to find a page that like looks a bit more kind of like his style. Like this looks closer.
Okay.
Like there's very lots of negative space, just a little bit like thinner lines. Like this looks more Travel Foreman to me.
I got you.
Like just a little bit more off.
I was talking about these scenes with Kingpin in the back.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just pointing at things and saying this one into the microphone. Anyways, so art by Travel Foreman doing kind of a different style.
I want to talk about, first of all, because I tried to look at this front cover and name everyone that's on it.
I didn't realize, because I've seen solicitations for this cover.
I didn't realize until I got it.
I didn't realize until I looked at this cover, I think after reading it, that it was literally all the characters on it are Marvel characters.
Which is supposed to be what it is, because none of them remember.
Yeah, that's the point.
It's so great!
But the cover is very good. It's maybe my favorite cover this week. But it's a crowd of all these Marvel characters, but all of them just in normal street clothes. There's Tony Stark, there's Wolverine, there's what I assume is Luke Cage, and they're all just walking down the street in their normal clothes, and Daredevil's in the middle of them, his shirt torn open, and he's just like, I'm Daredevil!
Yeah, and he's the only one looking at the screen.
And nobody's paying attention to him.
But I want to try this, so here we go. I don't know who this is. That's Bruce Banner.
I think that's Gambit. He's holding a card.
Oh, that's right. That's Bruce Banner then.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Rogue.
Yep.
Steve Rogers. I was going to say Steve Trevor.
That's probably.
We were just talking about, I hate Steve Trevor's name. Just want to get that out there.
Because it's two first names?
Two first names. I guess Steve Rogers. Rogers doesn't count. close.
I'm going to sidetrack us in a minute with a thing, but
Okay, Black Panther.
Yep, probably.
Storm.
Probably.
No idea. Emma Frost? Or what's this?
I think this might be...
I don't know much about X-Men.
Could be Susan Storm.
Okay, maybe.
Not sure.
I don't know who this is.
That's Jubilee.
Jubilee. What is her power? Is she sing?
She makes lights.
She makes lights.
Also, she was a vampire for a long time. She's an X-Men character.
Okay.
She's a mutant.
That is Luke Cage. He's skinnier than he is in the show.
It's a little bit hard to tell. I assume it's supposed to be Luke Cage. He's got a goatee.
Wow, so racist, Doug.
Well,
no, it is. It definitely is.
It's supposed to be Luke Cage.
Let's be honest.
It's a little hard to tell just because, he's not quite as big as he normally is. But
yeah.
I don't know.
Daredevil, obviously. Logan. That's Phoenix Girl.
Yeah, she's wearing a necklace, though. That's Jean Grey.
Right? I was trying to figure out the whole time because she has red hair.
I don't know who this guy with the beard is.
Is that supposed to be Reed?
Oh, yes, Reed and Sue.
But he doesn't. Oh, he has a little white in his hair.
Yes, he does. That's
right.
Ben Grimm,
That's
and
Ben
that's
Grimm.
Human Torch.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, so that's definitely the Fantastic Four.
I don't know. Maybe that's Rogue? No,
that's definitely Rogue back there.
Oh, that's
I don't
Rogue.
know who that is. Their faces and tell it to the side.
I don't know if that is. That's Tony Stark. That's all I got.
Tony Stark. I don't know who this one's supposed to be.
I know they have Elektra in this book. Is Elektra one of these people? Is that Elektra?
I think this one's Pepper Potts because she's got like a weird Bluetooth headset thing on in the middle of the street. It's weird.
If you know of anyone else in this that we didn't mention, go ahead and tweet us.
Come at us.
Come at us, bro.
Come at us, bro. So, anyways.
But this book
is surprisingly straightforward for a Donny Cates book.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean? I feel like these books are... It's not like it's Grant Morrison.
No, but Donny Cates' books in general, to me, feel like, in a lot of ways, weird mashups. They're also always like this very epic bent to them. And this one is just like... Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying anything about the quality, just remarking on how it's different from his normal stuff. But, it's a really good standalone kind of Marvel superhero book.
Do you mean like Donny Cates a lot of times has like very interesting concepts? Like, I don't think straightforward is the right way to go about it. I think they're very straightforward.
I think the storytelling in this is fairly straightforward for him.
No. I think that straightforward is not different from what he usually does. I feel like you can usually get what he's saying. I just feel like this is more of a like everyone not remembering who they are is like a general concept I feel like that has happened.
More traditional?
Yeah, more traditional. I think that's a better way to say it. It's
a more traditional Marvel
storyline
kind of story, or at least the storytelling, I mean.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. So basically, the basic concept, as we slowly learn in the book, is that everyone in the Marvel Universe who was a superhero before, or I guess everyone in general, does not remember that anyone was a superhero.
Ever. Yeah.
And we're just dropped into it, with Daredevil kind of being reminded that he was Daredevil.
By Detective Castle.
Yeah, Detective Frank Castle. And him going around, then Daredevil's going around trying to like reconnect with people, but also, even though he remembers he's Daredevil now, he still doesn't remember any other superheroes.
Not all of them, but he remembers like Foggy, people he had very close relationships with.
He remembers people, but not like other superheroes, I think is the thing.
Yeah.
And because he doesn't know who Jennifer Walters is.
Yeah.
So nobody remembers him. He doesn't remember other superheroes, and somehow Kingpin is like, I don't think he's behind it.
No, Doom is.
Oh yeah, Doom is somehow behind it.
That's the reveal at the end.
So Kingpin is like investigating all of them, but he seems to have like, I'm guessing it's notes from before whatever this is happened.
No, Doom for some reason knows all this. Yeah. Doom is the reason why they are all forgetting, and he's utilizing Kingpin's resources, I believe, to get all these people around, but he doesn't know why he's getting all these people.
Yeah.
But also, just to talk about the Hulk connection that we made, the reason Daredevil even knows is because the Hulk of Bruce Banner's Hulk did not get affected by this at all.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So we see Bruce Banner in the back of Detective Castle's, aka what you used to be Punisher, police car, and he said, and Castle says, this guy like woke up to little notes that looked like they were written by a 5-year-old.
Which I just want to say, they show that note later, and someone just typed out with like a handwritten font on a computer.
Are you talking about these guys?
Yeah, it does not look like a child wrote.
I don't think that's what the notes is. I think those are just...
It definitely is. I mean, maybe they transcribed it. They made a new list. But I was expecting them to show a list.
And
it looked like... I think that would have been more effective.
That would have been really funny. Yeah.
Well, it would have been, I don't know. There would have been something almost... It would have been kind of funny, but also something a little bit creepy. The idea that, like, the Hulk wrote it.
Yeah.
But, like...
I can feel that.
Anyways.
But, yeah, so Bruce Banner has these crazy notes, and he got Detective Castle and some other people before, and he's just going down the list trying to remind everybody. And, yeah, I think it's really, really cool. I'm really excited for each writer to put their own spin on it. I'm kind of worried because... Who knows if the quality is going to stay in the scripting at least, but I feel like the story at least is going to stay because Donny Cates.
So basically, Donny Cates is solo writing this first issue, and then he's co-writing, I believe, all the rest of the issues.
Yeah,
how many issues is this going to be?
That's a good question.
I'm not sure. Anyways, it's some sort of mini event.
Yeah.
Mini series.
But he's like, they said he's a showrunner. So I feel like he's doing the plotting, but he's not doing the scripting.
He's scripting this first issue, and then he's plotting the rest of the issues with other people scripting.
But like, for example, the next scripting is like this Rosenberg guy who's doing Punisher right now, which kind of makes sense that they're writing the character that they're writing right now.
Yeah, I think that's generally, I think that it's people writing kind of their characters.
Yeah. But also, the cover of the next one looks like it's going to have Elektra in it, too. I don't know if she has a series. Does she have a series?
I think she has, but she does not currently.
Well, like, I'm so excited to, like, know these people because when they say, like, oh, Elektra Nacho, she seems fun. I hope she's nicer. And me knowing more about her from the show and from, like, in general, like, knowing about this continuity, she's not going to be nicer. Like, getting that sort of, like, I don't know, being aware of that kind of stuff is new to me, and that's part of the great thing. 6 issue, that's what I saw.
Yeah, 6 issues. This cover's by Jeff Shaw. Of course it's amazing.
Yeah. But one of the things also about this specific issue that I thought was amazing writing and shows how good Donny Cates is, I had no idea Karen Page was dead in continuity. No idea. And I'm sure a lot of people did know that, but I didn't know. And I think that putting this as the first page, Karen Page's grave with Matt Murdock hand on it, trying to see who it is, I think that's an amazing setup for what we have later, which is a crazy moment when Daredevil is praying to God and Karen Page comes and says, I'm here. Like, I think it's an amazing, like, it sets you up and then it pays you off in the issue. Whereas if I got that payoff without this being in the graveyard at first, I wouldn't have nearly as much of a, oh shit moment because I wouldn't be aware of that. So I just love that. Also, I don't know if you're aware of this, but when the page of him remembering who he is, like Daredevil and stuff, these are all different art styles from the runs that he's had, like old, like Golden Age. This is, I don't know, something. This is another one. This is another one. Yep. I think that's such a cool, like, he's remembering all of his continuity and all these things.
This one near the center is him in his original yellow suit.
Yeah. Why did he have a yellow suit? Was he still Daredevil?
Yeah, he was Daredevil. His here, I'll bring up an image of Daredevil's original
I guess because Daredevil back in the day meant like you're a flashy sort of doing stunts and stuff. It wasn't like a devil, which they're kind of laying into now.
Yeah, they leaned much more heavily into the devil angle. But like, yeah, his original costume was yellow and red with an emphasis on the yellow.
Wow. I wonder if they're ever going to do that kind of thing, like I've always nod to it in the show.
Yeah, maybe. I've always meant to read Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, the creative team behind The Long Halloween at DC, did a series of graphic novels at Marvel about the early days of characters. Oh. There's Daredevil Yellow, Spider-Man Blue, Hulk Gray, because the Hulk was originally gray.
Oh.
Spider-Man, it's just because...
He used to be a blue man?
No, I don't know. I don't know why they called it blue. It's their color series.
Okay.
His costume's more or less the same. But, and in a very unfortunate turn right after Sam Wilson became Captain America. They did Steve Rogers Falcon. They did a Steve Rogers series called Captain America White.
Oh, that's not good.
It was in the works for like 10 years or something.
They should have changed.
They really should have, but they can't call it Captain America Red
because then it's commie.
Yeah. They really should have thought about that.
They should have just done Spider-Man Red and then Captain America Blue.
They did that a long time ago. It was really
unfortunate. I want to read that now.
It was good. Like it was a Jeff Loeb, Tim Sale Captain America book. It was just him. It was him in World War II fighting Nazis, but it was just very unfortunately timed. Yeah, and being white.
It was like right after he died and Sam Wilson picked it up or something.
I don't remember where it was in terms of if he was dead at the time, but it was definitely after Sam Wilson became Captain America.
God, that is just...
Well, Captain America did not die when Sam Wilson became Captain America. Captain America was aged up to be an old man, and he could no longer do it.
Oh, that's interesting. So like the out of time thing wasn't a continuity?
Yeah, they basically aged him up to about what's her name? Susan Carter's age.
Susan Carter? Oh, Susan Carter.
Sharon Carter. Sharon?
Agent Carter.
Agent Carter.
Is that Sharon?
The current continuity one is Sharon.
So Peggy.
Peggy's the original one, but Peggy's dead.
Peggy's dead. That's too bad. How'd she die?
I don't know.
We're on a big tangent. Marvel Knights is great.
This is an enormous tangent.
I loved this Fantastic Four stuff.
Yep.
We see them regularly. He sees them with all their powers and everything. And then we see Ben Grimm looking in the mirror and only seeing the human.
Mm-hmm.
Love that shit.
Yep.
And as much as so we've been talking about how Marvel 2-in-1, the series by Chip Zdarsky, has kind of gotten the shit treatment of like being sort of like not really continuity anymore, or like kind of having everything be not meaning anything.
Yeah, it's just like it's not important.
It's not important
because
when
of
it
the
totally
new
feels important.
Yeah, it should be.
Should be, but we have, and the big reveal here was like both parts. Okay, shit, Doom is fucking shit up, and I love Doom, but I love Doom because he has a lot of continuity and it matters, and it doesn't apparently matter. He's just evil now after all the work. He's just turned back into a bad guy. But whatever.
This series has enough distance from that like
this one does.
That like whatever, I'm fine. Someone made Doom a bad guy, so I think that's fair game for Donny Cates to be like, well, I'm going to use Doom then.
So would you be better off with Doom being evil in this than in the Fantastic Four book that Dan Slott's writing?
Well, that one's still frustrating because that's the one that made him evil again.
Yeah.
If someone else already fucking like pulled the ripcord on that and like, well, reset, Doom's evil again, then like I'm not going to be mad at Donny Cates for taking advantage and using him as a villain. But I am going to be mad at the person who like made the decision to undo all of that nice character work that they did with him, making him a good guy. But I don't know. I mean, that was always probably the intention to turn him back evil again. It just felt abrupt and for no reason. Yeah. Anyways,
do you want to talk about this at all anymore? Is there anything else to say that we
don't know that I have anything really.
Does this look like a different art style than the other stuff?
That's what I'm saying. Is like some of this stuff. This feels like travel format.
We're looking at the Karen Page reveal when Matt is praying.
Yeah, like it's just a little bit more sketchy. It's a little bit like thinner lines, a little more kind of rough and.
Stuff in the background though is so cool.
Yeah, it's like a blurred out photo rather than being drawn. I think it works really well for the scene, but that's not a thing that exists anywhere else in this book. And I thought when I reached basically because it feels like a shift this page. I was like, oh, there's Travel Foreman. Was it a different artist? And I looked at the credits again and it just says Travel Foreman. But anyways, it feels very different after this point.
Okay.
Anyway,
what else do we got? What do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about this new Green Lantern?
Let's dig into this new Green Lantern book. This is The Green Lantern. We've been very excited about it.
Yes.
It is a series from Grant Morrison and Liam Sharp.
May I?
You may.
On one hand, this is actually a very simple cop storyline. You have it starts out with the really like good cop, like figuring out a, problem and solving it right away. And then some mysterious thing in the cargo kills him. And then we have another one that gets taken over that our hero finds and takes over the, mantle with. He gets called back in to the station. They say, oh, we have a mystery to solve. And then he's, gonna solve the mystery.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it's Grant Morrison, and there's a fuck ton of shit going on at the beginning. And it's like, there's a Green Lantern that's a fucking virus that is so cool. And there's a fucking spider arachno pirates thing.
Yeah.
And it's just, I love it. I think it's awesome.
Okay.
Like marrying those two, like, this is a really simple cop storyline. This is a fucking crazy, cosmically oriented, crazy storyline. I think it's going to be really cool how it plays out in the beginning. It could get nonsensical really fast.
I think this issue already was fairly nonsensical
Really?
to me. There are kind of, in my mind, two modes of Grant Morrison. There's like fairly straightforward but very well thought out big epic stuff, and then there's Grant Morrison off the rails just throwing shit at you, and there's always so many cool ideas.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, there's story Grant Morrison and there's ideas Grant Morrison. Okay, and this series is ideas Grant Morrison, and he is just like, yeah, it's just the character's a virus, and this guy's got his finger cut off, but it's flying beside him. And there's all these new races of aliens that they introduce, and like new planets and stuff. And all this stuff is really cool, but it's just an assault.
And the art is not helping that.
No, the art is,
but it's
so
great.
busy. The art is beautiful, but like, yeah, I think my enjoyment of this series is going to be fairly dependent on kind of reading another issue or two and kind of getting more of a handle with what the rhythm of this series is, what it's trying to do. Because at the moment, it's a little bit much for me.
Like, think about all that busy artwork, and then you open this page, the opening credits.
Yep.
And it's just like,
I liked the book infinitely more once I was really unsure about a lot of this intro stuff. Yeah. And then you reach the part where we're back with Hal Jordan on Earth, and it's like an exhale. Like it's a little bit of a, like, we're just gonna calm down for a minute here. We're gonna reconnect with the character, and we're gonna kind of build back up to the epic stuff. And I really like that structurally. I think in retrospect that does work really well. It works as intended. I think that was
opening sequence.
It was all very purposeful. Like we're just throwing you into the crazy space stuff. Yeah. And we're backing back down to the human level stuff, and we're going to slowly build back up to him doing the crazy space shit. I like the sequence where these aliens disguised as humans ambush him on Earth because they know who he is. And they can kind of speak English, but not really. Yeah. It's such a nice touch that makes so much sense. Yeah. Then he goes, he solves the problem. Like, this felt busy, but he solves the problem so quickly, and I thought I had a good grasp on how he solves the problem with, like, him getting big. I like that idea that he's like, I'm getting big, big, big. Oh, you're not used to this gravity, so you're going to die, or you're going to get crippled. Yeah. And, I like, this issue is really all just kind of like a little one-off story to lead into kind of the more long-term story, it feels like. Like, we're setting up what the kind of mystery or kind of threat is that's going to be the overarching plot. Yeah. And the rest of this stuff is kind of throwaway, but like just kind of giving you a slice of like, what is it like to be Hal Jordan on the job? But like, it sets up this simple cop story of like, we're trying to find the bad cop on the force. You know, we're trying to find this guy, which, by the way, this is Dr. Manhattan symbol. It's an atom. No. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Dr. Manhattan because they're talking about someone who fucked with the Book of Oa. Oh, you're right. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Dr. Manhattan did, but I don't think he's going to be a big part of the series. I think that's just going to be the impetus for like, we don't know a lot now.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, analysis has revealed certain flaws. Revisions and amendments have taken place without our knowledge.
So I don't know if that's going to be a huge focus.
Probably not at all.
I just feel like that's like, we don't know a lot what's going on.
But that's Grant Morrison giving a little hook into continuity to be like, here's the reason why the book is the rules are no longer trustworthy.
Yeah.
He just gives you that little hook into kind of like the broader universe. He likes to do that.
Also,
I don't think it's going to be a focus of the book at all.
No. Also, is the planet going to be the one on the forest that's the bad guy?
Holy shit, that'd be so good.
Look at this. Isn't it, though? He's talking about it right now. Okay, there are 2 panels where they're talking about, like, there's someone that's, like, doing bad stuff on the forest. He's against the forest now. And very specifically, they have the planet. What's the name of the planet?
Mogo.
Mogo, the Green Lantern planet. He has the planet in one thing, and then it's in the middle of this Guardian's Eye. He's talking about it right now, right? We have welcomed but one of our lanterns seeks to destroy us.
And then there's the reflection of the planet lantern in his eye.
And they know who it is, so I feel like that's what it is.
A traitor within our ranks will shortly be uncovered. Dude, that'd be so fucking good if Mogo, the planet Green Lantern, is the bad guy.
I really think it is. Or at least he's who we're going to think it is right now.
Yeah, maybe it's a red herring, yeah. Yeah, because it's kind of like, it's not necessarily, because, it's in a sequence of them showing, like, a few different, like, here's all the various forms of life that are Green Lanterns. We've got, X-ray lanterns, radio lanterns, gamma lanterns, microwave lanterns, and then the next, we've got, 2 really weird looking lanterns, and then the third one is Mogo, the planet lantern.
Yeah.
But we linger on that in the reflection of the Guardian looking at him. And that panel is specifically talking, about, like, that. Or I guess this panel here. The
with his
reflection
eye.
is where he's saying there's a traitor. Dude.
Or what if it's
that's
like...
totally setting up that idea.
What if it's like Ego, who is disguised as Mogo?
Oh.
Is Ego a thing still?
Ego's in Marvel.
That's his Oh, it's not Marvel. I'm sorry. Ego
DC.
and Mogo always mess me up.
They're named, one of them definitely ripped off the other, but
yeah,
not sure which.
Also, can we thank Justice League for introducing ultraviolet lanterns so that he can play with radio lanterns and those wavelengths? Because, was that a thing?
I don't know that he's specifically referencing that, but I mean, he's definitely, like, working on the same kind of, like pattern of thought there. The idea of the non-visible kind of lanterns.
The non-visible spectrum.
Yeah.
Which I love that idea. I've always thought about that, honestly, because if they're every color in the spectrum, they should be every wavelength.
Superman is an X-ray lantern. I don't know. He can see through shit.
But yeah. And then we have Hal Jordan, clone, who's going to be bad. I guess, is that supposed to be yellow?
The Weaponeer, I assume he's supposed to be a yellow lantern. I'm not familiar with this character. That lost
Controller Moo?
Weaponeer, I assume they're calling him.
Weaponeer. Extract the heart of the Weaponeer.
And they've got, like, they've got his heart open.
Extracting the heart. So wait, they're not going to use a Hal Jordan.
He's not anything on Comic Vine.
So he's not going to be like a Hal Jordan doppelganger. They're taking out the doppelganger's heart and putting in something else? We'll see. We'll see.
Of the Weaponeer.
And he's an antimatter lantern, which doesn't really make sense. Not really.
It should be like whatever the opposite of light is. It's a darkness lantern.
Is that supposed to be like dark?
There are black lanterns.
Because the source wall is gone, so maybe that's why. Maybe Dark Knight's metal. I don't know. I'm excited. I
definitely think a lot of my opinion of the series is going to be dictated by kind of how it goes forward. Because this issue was a lot of information in terms of, at least in the beginning stuff. Mm-hmm. But lots of good ideas.
Yeah. I know. I think so.
All right, so moving right along, one new book that we both picked up this week.
Other than Green Lantern.
Other than Green Lantern.
Sorry, the Green Lantern.
I guess I mean more like kind of debut, more in a sense
that we didn't know.
Yeah, like a completely new characters concept book. So
sorry, just to be sure, we have to never leave off the of Green Lantern. The Green Lantern.
The Green Lantern. Well, sorry. Yeah. So this book is Outer Darkness. by the writer of Chew, John Layman, and art by Afu Chan.
Ever heard of him?
I have not.
Or her? I actually don't know. That could be both.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
So let's say androgynous?
I think it's more foreign than androgynous, but
no, like we don't know what gender it is.
Like you're not wrong, I guess.
Thank you.
But I don't know those names.
I like working in the not wrong era.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but yeah, okay. Also about Chew, did you read Chew?
I read like the first maybe trade or something of Chew and fell off at some point. I've always meant to go back and read more of it because I really liked it.
Yeah.
I mean, I really like Rob Guillory's art. I'm really enjoying it in Farmhand, which we'll maybe talk about later. But Outer Darkness is his new sci-fi
horror, I guess.
Yeah, it's like a sci-fi sort of horror book. I
mean,
know
at the back he says it. Do you read the back?
Yeah, I don't know that it's like a horror book. I don't know that I would say that, but it's definitely like playing with horror concepts and kind of the like horror as an aesthetic.
Yeah,
horror, like the ideas of horror. So it's very kind of Star Trek inspired. We've got a captain on a ship, or like a previously disgraced first officer who's now the captain of a ship.
Which, by the way, totally a super Star Trek opening scene.
Oh yeah, in the
He's
bar.
Like, get out of here, and then I guess I'll come back. Like, I mean, whatever, I'll take it.
It's very Star Trek. I feel like some of that stuff might be on purpose, like in order to like make you be like, okay, I know what this is, and then come in with the twist later.
Yeah,
but
so
maybe not.
That's a good point though, because like the whole beginning, I'm like, okay, this is good. And like you said, Doug told me it's like Star Trek basically, and then you start reading it, it's like Star Trek, and then there's a specific moment where they introduce something, an aspect of this new ship that our now main character is doing. He refers to what they have as a God engine,
which he's surprised by because he thought they had some other kind of engine, which also sounded like it was a similar concept, but this is like a crazy version of that.
Very powerful.
Yeah.
Because it's literally a god or some horned, like, monster god that is trapped, giving them power. And they feed him like a pet.
Yep. So they say they're like, he goes in to talk to it. He like demands that basically the engine of the ship, which is holding this god in it. Yeah. He's like, I am your lord and master. I am your god. Do you understand me? And he makes the monster acknowledge him. And then they bring in basically who they're feeding to him, and it's a bunch of criminals, convicts. And he like, it was really funny that he like decided he was going to spare one of them. Yeah. But it like wasn't the one you would expect.
But like the one that's going to be most useful for him. Like, this isn't like
but I mean, that's kind of the reveal is that like, he's not being merciful. He's picking
tactical.
Yeah. He's being tactical in terms of, because he thinks like this is going to be a really dangerous voyage. And he picks the person who he thinks is going to be more useful, but maybe more dangerous, as opposed to the person who did like white collar crime and was basically like, please don't kill me.
Like insurance fraud or something.
Yeah, it was
like
insurance fraud.
Oh my God.
Ridiculous. So
they get fed while the insubordinate person they didn't follow orders or some shit like that.
It was conspiracy, larceny, mutiny, and desertion.
Okay, well,
those are a number of things.
Kind of significant, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we get this panel of him, the god, eating these people. Just brutal. But it's just that's just one of those aspects that's just like, okay, this is like Star Trek, but it's tying me into so many things about this universe that can go so many different ways wrong. Like this thing in the beginning, this first problem they have, which is like spirits, I guess, haunting the ship.
This zone of space, wherever they are, seems to be just infested with like, I don't know, ghosts and horrors of space or whatever, which fits in very much with the idea that they have their ships powered by these spirits or whatever. Mm-hmm. And people are getting possessed in the beginning, and I'm excited for the particular brand of like
fantasy sci-fi.
Yeah, like fantasy horror stuff mixing in with the like. Not space opera is the wrong kind of word for Star Trek, but like
It's really?
It's definitely in the same ballpark, but it's more specific. I don't know.
Spacey wacy.
It's like, I don't know, military / exploration.
Yeah, I can see that. Military, like...
Yeah, it's the, like, we're a crew on a ship and we're going on a journey, you know?
Yeah.
It's just a very specific kind of that. Anyways.
I can feel that.
Because it is very specifically referential or reminiscent of Star Trek.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think this is a really strong debut.
Totally. And we have so many elements that I'm really excited for them to play on. Like, we have our Mr. Spock character. We have our thing that the captain actually wants to look for, but is totally going to make things go wrong because he's going to be emotional about it.
Yep.
And I enjoy the art. I think it'll get better as it goes on. And then I enjoy just the writing style of John Layman. I'm really excited for this.
Yeah. It toes a line between, like, it's not silly, but like it's always teetering on the edge of, like, kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, which is kind of Star Trek.
Which I think really works for this. It's overall very fun. They set up the seeds for what could be a lot of really interesting inter-character relationships. His, like, fake first mate character who he insisted come on the journey with them, but they wouldn't reinstate to be part of the ship. So
he has just no rank whatsoever.
Yeah, so he's just bringing him with as like an advisor,
consultant. Yeah.
So I think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really interesting ideas in this book, and I think it has a lot of potential.
And I think the cover really tells you what's going to be because you have your whole cast of characters in the space fleet or whatever. Space fleet. That's the Black Mirror episode.
Space Fleet is something else.
Space Fleet is the name of the show in Black Mirror in that episode, USS Callister.
Okay.
It's called Space Fleet. You look it up. But on this cover, around all the space stuff, they have this spiritual, godlike thing surrounding them, which I think is an idea of what's going to go on forth because, that's exactly the kind of the area they're working with. So, I love the colors. I love the art in general. I love the writing. I just love this so far, so I'm excited. He's looking up the Wikipedia right now. We should give what is it? We should stream our computer activity while we do this. You know that movie? What's the movie? Space Fleet. See?
Does it say it?
Your mouse is over it.
Starfleet is the thing I'm thinking of.
I don't know what that is.
Starfleet is not the...
It's Galaxy Quest? No, it's not.
Is Starfleet Star Trek?
No. Is it? Oh, this is bad.
This is very bad. We don't know.
A lot of us. We shouldn't have this much what is this thing, on this show.
We're learning. We're learning. It is
Star Trek.
It's Starfleet.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's it. That's why it's called Space Fleet.
You learn something every day.
Okay. But I'm excited for this book. Doug, are you excited?
I'm very excited.
Okay. Moving on.
All right. We took a short little break there because we have a surprise guest. Wow. Announcing her arrival here with a perfect sound is Samantha.
Hello.
See, that'd be a good spoiler noise. I never was able to do that. Okay.
Riveting radio. Samantha's been on a few shows before. Have you done one or two shows with Jack? And then you kind of jumped in for a segment with me a few months ago.
Like in August.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Why didn't you ever tell me about that?
You were there. You didn't read a book and she was there. So we pulled her in. But yeah, Samantha's back on the show for this episode here.
Our special episode.
To have it.
Do you know this?
Oh yeah, this is our
special one.
This is our 50th episode.
Is that why you asked
our
me?
15th.
Special.
Yeah.
And do you want me to make this extra special?
Yes.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Wow.
Every episode with you is very special.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Very
so
much so.
kind.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we're just about to talk about a couple books that you've read. So maybe you can start us up. Like, what has Farmhand been like thus far, and how do you think this is kind of the ending of it
Yes.
in this arc at least?
The arc. They make that clear at the end.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought that issues 1 through 4 were really good, but I wasn't in love with it. I really, really liked it, but I was like, okay, I need something major to happen. Issue 5 did that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was really, really good.
So you can go into specifics. Like, what do you think is tying us into the longer plot?
I just feel like it was like an explosion. It was just so good with everything. You just understand more, and like the thing that happens with the sister was insane.
The sister,
and the woman, what's her name?
Thorne. Mayor Thorne.
Mayor Thorne.
Is it Thorne? Yeah, it is Thorne.
Crazy lady.
And now we know the background between her and Jenkins.
Yeah.
Is his name Jenkins or Jedediah?
Jedediah Jenkins? Is it?
It's Jedediah.
It's definitely Jed.
Yeah, she calls him Jed.
I
think it's just Jedediah, maybe.
Jed.
I thought they said their last names.
They definitely said their last names because the farm is named after them. Anyway,
so we find out the background between Thorne and Jed.
That they tried to grow a brain.
And their difference in opinion.
Jenkins.
It is Jenkins.
Cool.
Oh my god.
Okay. But so that was really interesting, and you kind of see that she's trying to, may I swear?
Yeah. Oh, you can swear.
She's trying to fuck shit up.
Yes.
Oh my god, that was way more swear than I thought.
Yeah, I thought you'd say crap.
We keep ourselves to the worst word we say on here is piss.
Piss.
Well, we say we're PG-13, so we can say fuck once.
One
but
time.
Now you've said it twice because I said
it. Shit.
Oh.
Oh
no! Sorry.
Yep, the normal swear that people just say.
People say cock.
British people do.
Yeah.
Back to farmhand.
Yeah, so Thorne is we didn't know this at all, that she's kind of the person who actually made the whatever stem cell.
She was the farmer and he was the scientist.
Right.
Is what I got out of it.
Opposite. She's the scientist.
But he's a shitty farmer.
Right.
He is a farmer, but he had a quote, vision that gave him, and she basically interpreted that in okay, as a scientist, what does that mean and how do we do it?
So he's kind of like Jack Kirby and she's kind of like Stan Lee?
I'm not entirely sure I follow that analogy or what it means, but...
But anyway, they had a very different opinion of what they wanted to go through with this.
Well, we don't see that in this opening scene, though. We just see that she's kind of on board.
You see that she's like, okay.
She's on board.
But then, at the end, you're like...
She's nuts.
When she says, I have big plans.
Yeah, I mean, she's clearly in some way, I don't know, probably bitter that she's been cut out of this huge multi-million-dollar operation here.
Yeah.
Being kind of the actual brains behind the science of this whole thing.
One thing I'm wondering is, I guess she was waiting this long until she could be mayor, because she's mayor now, and or was she controlling the mayor? I feel like, because they said it was a landslide, unexpected victory, too.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little unclear what her goal is with becoming mayor, but
we'll find out.
We'll find out
in March.
Because she became mayor and then also drugged and attempted to kill Andy.
No, I'm sorry. Andy at the end is totally not the same as Andy as we've been having her. She is a clone.
I don't know about
made
that.
out of plants.
She's done something to her. I think there's more. There's definitely more to this than...
Because it says she was doused in this stuff. Yeah. Not that she's a different being. Because she went to the hospital and they checked her out and everything.
I guess so. I just feel like she made a clone of her or something.
There is a reveal to come with her. I don't think she's a clone. I think it's still her.
I think she made a clone off of her, though.
Obviously, her insides have changed.
Because the reason why they stopped doing the brain thing is because it grows an eye and is looking at him. It has sentience. It can grow stuff out of the brain because the brain is something we don't understand.
I think you're really reaching here, but...
Why does it grow an eye?
Because these things grow weird plant parts all the time.
I think there's something specific with the brain because they can grow sentience. And then with the brain, you have all the genetic material theoretically that you might need. I think that's the jump they're going to make. I think she's making an army. Plant army.
Crazy.
That's nuts. Anyways, yeah, she's obviously up to some shit, but we don't know what. Oh, we had a big reveal here that in some form
spreading.
The sickness or plant sickness caused by this treatment is escaped. Is this a dude from Chew?
Yes, it looks like him.
That's the fact. Yeah, that's evil. That's the guy that was Tony Chew. Spoilers for Chew. That was totally the guy that was Tony Chew's partner, but then it turned out that he was not a good guy.
Mm-hmm. I think it's very close in a way that...
Maybe it's just an Easter egg.
Definitely. I mean,
who knows?
Rob Guillory's art is chock full always of Easter eggs. I think this is not the first true Easter egg that's been in this book.
But this was such a great book with, like, if you looked at all the little things, what was it, in the apartment of the guy that Jed punched, they have a big photograph of the Sex and the City women.
I think he's watching it on TV.
Oh yeah, that's a TV.
He's just watching Sex and the City.
It's not in, like, art form. It's an actual picture. It's so funny.
Oh, guy with a handlebar mustache says "country, y'all."
Yes.
Okay.
It's just with his stuff, you have to be very aware of all the little things, and it makes it so much better.
He hides lots of little, like,
funny things,
little funny rings. Like this one here is Bar Life Monthly. It's a magazine
for bar people.
Yeah, a magazine you read at a bar, I guess. It's just like little snarky stuff like that. But
and then the ending where they reveal that this whole sickness is going to be spread across the nations and everything.
In a bus station, and the bus is like going to all these major cities.
Or it reminds me of, did you see Planet of the Apes, Rise of the Planet of the Apes? You saw that, right? Yeah. With James Franco and stuff? The very last scene, because the thing in Planet of the Apes is that a huge virus kills off all of humanity, and the last scene reveal that is that a pilot, like, coughs into his nose and has blood coming out, and then it shows, like, the plague spreading all across. Oh, wow. So I was really reminded by this little reveal, because I think it was kind of in a similar vein, and I love that. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I think this book is definitely ratcheting up here at the end of the first arc. Like, it's starting to kind of, like, actually hit the ground running. And it's been a lot of setup up until now.
But this really was great.
It's paying off in a good way, and I think that we really kind of know more about what this series is kind of going to be. You know what I mean? And
we pretty much knew that there was going to be more, but it was slightly unclear. But yeah, he says it's going to be back in March of 2019 for the second arc.
Yeah.
So
a little trade break, normal trade break, right?
Yeah.
Now is the next one going to be Farmhand number 1 again?
No, I think it's just going to be number 6.
Okay. Is Image not usually doing that?
Occasionally they don't do that kind of thing as much. If they take like a long break, like I'm unsure if they're doing another arc of Witches. Oh yeah. And I don't know if they're going to renumber that or not.
That'll be interesting.
Because he keeps calling it the second arc. Specifically, not volume. So I don't know if
I did see volume somewhere.
All right, well.
Sorry. How long was Witches? When was Witches in, like, did you have Witches in issue format?
Yeah, I read it in issues.
Okay. I don't know, man. But, yeah. And, Samantha, so moving on to our other book, you were just talking to me about your opinion of Death of the Inhumans at the end. I think I might share a little bit with you. Let's hear about it.
Yeah. Okay, what do you think of this book?
When I saw the cover of it, first of all, with Lockjaw appearing to be dead, I didn't, I was preparing myself for this really sad loss.
As we already got kind of that really sad moment already in this series.
So, but by showing this, it doesn't really look like there's much hope. You're getting ready to really feel something, as Donny Cates usually does. I didn't, because I feel like they phoned in the ending. It was just like, oh no, let me scream, now everything's great and everyone's alive, yay!
It's a little sudden.
I feel like that's not what Donny Cates usually does. He accepts deaths and sadness,
but there is sadness here. Like the sacrifice that Black Bolt makes at the end here is, and from a writing perspective, I could see how people could see it as cheap, but I think it's particularly like meaningful to the character. Is like that he makes this choice of like, I can have my like the people from my family, or I can have like the rest of the Inhuman race.
Right.
And he chooses his family and murders the rest of them.
Yeah, but also they kind of set that up at the beginning, saying like, I'm the one that kills the Inhumans, but I know something that everyone else doesn't know. And then I didn't really get what the twist was. Like, what did he know that...
Well, he said that they were born from seeds.
From the Kree people or whatever, so all he had to do was like, kill these people. I don't know, I didn't really get that twist coming back. And I don't know. I kind of agree with Samantha. This ending issue, while written from a moment-to-moment basis, is good.
Is this the last one?
This is the last one. I just thought it feels really company-mandated, and I thought that they just want a team called the Inhumans, and they just want to get rid of the race of people. You know what I mean?
I could see that, but I don't know. I think it's really... I think for what it is, like, it's really well done. Like, I don't know that I
don't know. I just thought they built up all this, like, huge shit with Vox and everything. I know we got a few reveals about him, but then, like, that whole thing is just solved with one big scream and that's it. And, like, I know it's Black Bolt, but, like, it just seems like it was really easy once they got on the station.
But, like, it was all about that kind of, that choice that he had to make. It wasn't about, like, them having a big struggle.
But I feel like the choice, they could have, I don't know, it just didn't feel
difficult.
As big of a choice as it should have.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, when you're talking about it, yes, he killed off a whole race of people, but it doesn't feel like that. And that's what I want. Like, I wanted to feel that choice, and I didn't.
Yeah. It does seem like he just kind of does it very suddenly without a whole lot of thought.
No
like,
build up.
There's a couple panels of him with a tear in his eye, but, like, there's not really him, like, hemming or hawing about, like, if he's going to do it. He just kind of
does it.
Is sad, but he does it.
And honestly, if we had this exact last issue and the entire series before this, we knew, like, he had to toy with this choice. Like, I heard of this prophecy that I have to kill everybody. How am I going to live with that and shit like that? If we delved into that, but I don't think we ever heard of that until now. Did we?
No, we did.
The prophecy that he's going to have to kill all of them?
Well, that the Midnight King was going to bring an end to the Inhumans? Well, it was going to bring ruin to the Kree.
Okay, I knew that, yeah. And the Inhumans are the Kree? So, I don't know.
This isn't... Are you sure this isn't a 6-issue miniseries?
This is the end.
This is the end. All right. But anyways.
I think it'd be great if they had another one, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
But I'm glad Lockjaw's okay.
Lockjaw's okay. I hope they put his head prong thing back.
Yeah.
I think they probably will.
I think it's going to poke him in the forehead.
I know, we don't want that. He's a good boy.
He's a good boy.
But I think that we're going to expect a team book called The Inhumans, and they're just going to kind of forget about the race of people.
Which, I mean, whatever you want to say about how they did it in this series, I'm kind of glad for that.
It does tidy up some of the continuity that they have, I guess.
They've been trying to make the whole, like, race of Inhumans around them was a thing that they did in their publishing line when they started making their own movies, and the X-Men were still held on by Fox. And so what they basically tried to do was turn the Inhuman corner of the Marvel Universe in comics into the X-Men.
Okay.
And they had like the Terrigen Storm, because there's normally the Terrigen Mists, and it went all over the earth, and it created all these new Inhumans, because normally it's their family.
Yeah.
And
you know about,
like, some tangential people.
You're talking about Terrigens and stuff like that?
Yeah.
That's like what they get their powers from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, so they, like, created this whole society around them to, like, basically allow them to do the X-Men without doing the X-Men.
Yeah. But then in ABC's Inhumans happened.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it. I don't know if you know, it was like, it came out, and, you know, Marvel has been putting out at least decent stuff all over the place, and ABC's Inhumans shit the bed hardcore.
It was supposed to be terrible.
Did you watch the first episode?
I did not watch it. I just heard terrible things, and the trailers looked terrible.
Yes.
So I didn't bother.
Which, understandably so, like, you kind of need a big budget.
And they fucking... people were making all sorts of posts the other day, like, someday, beginning of November, was in an alternate reality, like, because they are... the day that Inhumans, the movie, came out, because they literally announced it. Yeah. Like, a few years back, they announced, like, we're making an Inhumans movie at one of their press conferences, and they had a logo and everything. And then
I remember people were like, oh, that's kind of weird, because they're kind of, like, off in there, but, you know, Guardians work, so this could probably work. You know?
And then they shit-canned that and did the show, and the show was bad. But
yeah.
Anyways, I think they figured out they weren't going to make any money on them in their movies, so let's just put them back on the board.
Let's get Donny Cates on there, because people will love him about other stuff anyways.
Yeah. In any case...
Good. It could have ended better.
No, like, the whole thing was good. I just felt like the ending, I needed to feel more.
It did feel a little too tidy.
Yeah.
Like, which, I don't know. I think it's an interesting new kind of wrinkle for the character that he's going to have to live with that guilt now.
If they follow up on that, that'd be great for future series. As, you know, for this right now,
It does make kind of the emotional impact of all of the characters who seem like they died earlier in the series kind of nothing.
Yeah.
But
because we learned that all the ones dying were actually captured.
I thought at least one of these characters, like the important, like Lockjaw or Crystal, which is the other girl that they save at the end, were gonna die just so that they could have one real death. I mean, they did kill Maximus.
That was the only one this entire series,
but that's what I'm saying.
They killed some other...
Okay, sorry, I don't know about it. People who love Inhumans.
Gorgon.
We don't want them to die, but in order to really feel and be like realistic, one of them should have.
Realistic, but like
you know what
to
I mean.
have like the emotional impact that makes the story worth it.
But everyone lives. I mean, not everyone.
Not everyone. A lot of people died. Let's not be coy about
this.
But
our main characters all live.
Yeah.
It did feel a little bit too tidy in that.
Let's be honest, Max is going to come back at some point. He is. It's comics.
It frustrates me.
I know. But yeah, that's definitely Humans. People don't have to hate on Donny Cates anymore, I guess.
Yeah, people were complaining hardcore about this book online because they were like
Humans.
Well, people just don't want anybody to kill anyone.
Okay.
There's a huge segment of the comics online community that's like character death is bad in stories.
So that makes sense why he did this. The ending, then.
Oh, it totally... I don't think it was him caving to that necessarily.
A little bit. Like, giving them a little bit what they wanted.
I think people probably hate that more.
Yeah, I don't know. I do think this is... Yeah. Those people are probably feeling pretty silly right now.
Yeah.
For complaining about it. But anyways... I think overall, generally, though, like... It
was a good series.
A slightly tepid ending aside, like, I think that, like, it's still a really great ride, this whole book.
Yeah.
It's great.
And it's tough to end a series like this. That's called Death of the Inhumans. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Naming the book that was probably set a very high kind of expectation for what the book was going to be that maybe could have mitigated a little bit of the disappointment of the ending.
Call it Inhumans like Requiem or something like that.
Yeah.
Even that would be like less like on the nose, like this is the death of the Inhuman. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because it feels a little bit like he was trolling everyone.
Yeah. That's
at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But
what can you say?
That's kind of Donny Cates' style a little bit.
Yeah.
Is to just kind of like, I don't know, go all the way with like his title and everything.
Yeah, and work with people's expectations.
Yeah, definitely play off people's expectations.
Yeah.
Sure.
Now, Samantha, you didn't read the next one we can talk about.
I didn't.
But you also don't really care because you didn't like the first issue of this run of Justice League Drowned Earth.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Didn't like the prelude.
You mean specifically... Okay, so you read
the first one.
The prelude.
The issue... I guess that was the last issue of Justice League.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the last one was like a special.
It was Justice League / Aquaman Drowned Earth Part 1.
Yeah. I did not like it one bit. I didn't care.
Yeah, I
didn't like the last issue of this arc too.
I thought the first one was fine. I think the last issue showed a lot that art was doing most of the work.
Yeah.
And then Jack and I both really struggled through that last issue.
Yeah.
This issue we've got Francis Manapul back on art again, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. I love this. And it made me feel like the story was so much better, but that makes me feel like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, like, if all of these issues were drawn by Francis Manapul, I would be totally fine skimming the story of these issues to just look at it.
His work is beautiful.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, like the Graveyard of the Gods, like it just looks beautiful.
And I still think there's interesting ideas in here. It's all so floaty. It's the same kind of like, there's the barest minimum of like logic behind how like the flow of the story and stuff. Just like this, what we didn't like about Dark Knight's Metal.
Yeah, I was telling you about like Dark Knight's Metal and how I was like really excited for it. Then it wasn't really that much. This is kind of like why. And Scott Snyder seems to be like, when he gets too like big and epic and stuff, seems to not be as good at grounding huge epic things, and he seems to be better on smaller scale.
Yeah,
things.
I feel like I don't have. There's no character work mixed into this. There's nothing like interesting from like. They're not making dramatic choices. They're not. There's not like push and pull in the tension or like who has the upper hand or anything. It's just like here we're all fighting.
Yeah,
and then a bad thing happens at the end, I guess. I don't know. It's just that's kind of what a lot of Scott Snyder's epic stuff feels like.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating because I have loved Scott Snyder stuff so much in the past. I still love, like, we just read that fucking Witches special.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And I just think this is, I hate to say it because I don't want to limit people, but I just don't think this is his bag.
Yeah.
I don't think this is...
Even like the mirror stuff that we introduced at the beginning, I thought we were going to have some sort of payoff, because why put it at the very beginning of this issue if you're not going to have some sort of thing in the middle or at the end? Like, and then Mirror just kind of like, okay, we have to get this. Nothing really else. Like, why'd we have that flashback then? Yeah. Just some random like filler. It just feels all like filler for some reason. But there's stuff happening. Like, I don't know. But it's beautiful. It's all beautiful. And then we also have in this, like, a bunch of different artists are doing this this story, and including Fraser Irving, which I'm also really excited.
I'm excited to see him draw some crazy epic sea shit.
Yeah.
His art's also beautiful. I guess I'm going to read another one because I liked the art enough on this one. I don't know who's doing... Is it Fraser Irving on the next one, or who's doing...
I don't know who's on the next one. This is part 2 of 4 for this stuff.
It might be dependent on the art. And
let's look at this. There's a page. I'm going to look for it.
I'm, like, totally on the fence about whether or not I'm even going to continue reading Justice League. And it feels stupid to drop it because of this arc, but, like, I don't want to skip this and come back.
Yeah.
It's just...
So we have 2 more issues, and we have 3 guys that we haven't seen art from. Fraser Irving, Lan Medina, and Vincent.
Well, some of these are also there's like some tie-ins.
No, I know. We're right here. So maybe like of these three are going to be on here. I hope Fraser Irving is not on the tie-in.
I think these other artists, Lan Medina and Vicente Cifuentes, it's a fun name. Are probably on the Aquaman and Titans issues, but
hope so.
Because they're side things. Because we haven't seen their names before. I think Fraser Irving is on one of these.
I hope so.
Issues, but
this would be great, because you read Fraser Irving in that Thanos annual this past year. Oh, yeah. It's so good. The one where he takes the heart out of their god and stuff. And then Donny Cates' last Doctor Strange book too.
Yep.
Fraser Irving did all that art. It's just
that's such a good single issue.
Oh, I know.
Anyways. Yeah. I'm going to pick up the next issue, like literally physically pick it up. Look who's on art, look at the first page and see if I care enough to continue reading it. And if not...
The entire story?
I might just drop the whole book.
Wow.
I don't know. If you keep reading it, you let me know if I should come back on board afterwards. And I think I'm going to miss much.
I think I'm going to give him till at least the next one, because there's only 2 more parts of this story.
I'm probably going to cave and just pick up the next one.
I think you will.
But yeah, the power of my FOMO is strong.
I don't like that. I don't like FOMO. I hate that.
I also don't like it, but it was particularly descriptive.
It is very descriptive. I don't know. I feel like I don't have that fear. There's so much out there.
I definitely do.
There's so much out there now that, like, if I know I'm not going to catch every single really great thing.
Yeah, but you got to try.
Why do you have to try? Because you're not going to do it.
I mean it's specifically relevant in this case, because if you're going to keep reading and you're going to talk about it and stuff, I don't want to miss out.
Yeah, I can see that. But I think you also know that Scott Snyder is at least going to have his moments, and those moments are going to be really good. You know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah.
Also, we were just talking about this new series that's going to... Well, no, you can stay here. Samantha was just giving me fingers on, like, should I leave? Do you guys want to, like, make out more on this show? Okay.
Bye, guys. I'm going to go look through Doug's comics.
She's going to
exit. Really fun.
Yeah, he has a giveaway box that he needs to let us see before he gives away.
Thank you for being on the show, Samantha.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. So I've got one more book that I read alone here.
Oh, yeah, let's hear it.
Which was the first issue of the new James Bond 007. Sorry, let me rephrase that, give the whole title.
Let's hear it.
Ian Fleming's James Bond 007.
Okay.
Issue 001.
Oh, issue 001. Do they really have 2 zeros?
They do have 2 zeros.
Do you think it's going to go to 100?
Which is you can't keep that bit going. What do you do once you hit 10? 0010?
I think it's just going to be 010, because it's still not like...
But then it's not 00 anymore.
Yeah, and the 00 is supposed to be like...
Then you just have a random 0 in front of your number.
What's the 00 again? It's like you kill 2 people before you become a 007.
Yeah, you have to kill... I think that was... I don't know if this was a pre-existing thing, but I remember it specifically in Casino Royale.
Because he killed the guy in the bathroom and then went up to the office, and that's how he got 00.
They said you need 2 kills to become a 00. Yeah. That's at least from that movie. I don't know if that was from anything else, but it was really good. Like, I'm a big fan of the Warren Ellis, Jason Masters, James Bond run at Dynamite. This is also from Dynamite.
Isn't Warren Ellis, though, right?
No.
Okay.
But this reminded me a lot of kind of the vibe of that book. I mean, makes sense. It's still James Bond.
Okay.
But, like, the art has a very similar feel to the art in that run. Like, I don't think the art in that run was amazing, but it had, like, a really good sense of kind of action flow, which is kind of important for a Warren Ellis book.
I'll say I didn't like the Free Comic Book Day. Varger. I wasn't a big fan of that.
You kind of need to read a little bit of it to kind of get a feel for it.
Okay.
And also, that is one of those books that, like, there's a few different kind of modes of Warren Ellis.
Okay.
And one of those modes that James Bond book is operating on is, like, that is a book that is Warren Ellis choreographing fight scenes.
Okay.
And it's all, the enjoyment for me, at least in that book, all comes from, like, how are they going to frame this action sequence? And there's, like, he makes the most kind of, like, dramatic and, like, well-paced, well-executed action sequences, I think, in comics. I don't know that there's anyone better who writes them better than him.
Interesting.
And he picks a lot of artists that are really good at visually executing that.
Wow.
And Jason Masters was a really good fit for that particular aspect of the book. The rest of his art, like the quiet scenes, didn't. I don't know that they quite lived up to that, but this book I think is, like, generally better. Some weird production stuff aside, some of these pages look, I don't know, blown up or blurry in some way, or panels.
I've noticed that in a lot of comics for some reason. Not like a lot, but it's
just really jarring sometimes when, like, a book will look completely fine, and then, like, a panel or a page will just look like someone drew it really small and then they blew it up.
Yeah.
Or, like, it was a lot of those times it's probably a decision that people made after the fact, like, editing the book. They're like, we actually could crop this a little bit tighter, and they just.
Or maybe they got rid of a panel that wasn't necessary.
Yeah, or they're reorganizing stuff somehow. But anyways, like, this is a book that's heavily featuring Oddjob. They're kind of making, at least it seems like they're going to be making him more of a character than just a henchman.
Okay. Is Oddjob a big part of, like, comics, James Bond in general?
I have not encountered Oddjob in comics before, but they're kind of repositioning him as, like, an enemy spy.
That's
here.
fucking cool.
And he's like also very competent in a fight, and there's some really good fight choreography. I haven't mentioned the creative team. This is Greg Pak and Mark Laming.
That's a weird name.
I like the vibe. I don't think it blew me out of the water, but, like, I'm definitely interested to read more. I think it could definitely go some interesting places.
Okay. I probably won't pick it up.
I don't know that I'm, like, I would jump out of my seat to recommend it to anyone, but, like, I enjoyed it. I think it could definitely pick up for sure.
Okay. I will say, I was just flipping through that Detective Comics you have over there, and that art style is so cool.
Oh, yeah, that is...
Who is that again?
Carmine Giandomenico.
Great. Why do artists have, like, weird names? I'm just kidding. It's not a weird name, and weird isn't bad either.
It's just a foreign name.
Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe there are a lot of artists who are foreign. That's probably it.
Damn. Anyways.
But even Clay Man. He's a clay man. He
is a man made of clay. So yeah, those were all of our books for the week. Did you have any solo books this week?
No, but I finally picked up Pearl number 3, which my store's out of, and then some guy didn't pick up his pull for a week and a half or 2.5 weeks, so they put it back out, and I immediately got it.
Nice.
So I'm very happy.
Mm-hmm. Have you read it? You haven't read it yet?
I haven't read it yet.
Okay.
But I'm going to. And I read one story of Batman Secret Files. With the platinum, those Tom King's with the platinum
so good.
Carbonite. Platinum kryptonite.
It's so good. The first and last stories in that issue are the best.
Yeah. Is the last one Detective Chimp?
Yes. That is the Tom Taylor written. I'm trying to remember who's on art. I know who it is. I can't remember his name.
Is Detective Chimp's name Bobo?
His name's Bobo.
Do people call him Bobo?
Oh, yeah. I have seen more people call him Bobo. People most of the time call him Bobo.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't think that anyone calls him Bobo in Justice League Dark.
I feel like they do.
I'll have to make sure.
I don't think people refer to him as Detective Chimp unless they're talking about him, like to other people.
I don't know, man. I'll look for it.
I think you're wrong.
I'll look for it next time. I don't know when Justice League Dark.
It's weird to refer to a person to their face as, like, if you were a detective, I wouldn't go Detective Jack. Because it's not your alter ego. That's just what people call him.
What about Hey Detective? Or
I still don't think they call him Detective or Chimp to his face.
Wait, but is his name Bobo Chimp then?
I think his name's just Bobo. He's a chimp. He doesn't have a last name.
He could have a last name. He's sentient.
I guess he could make a last name, but he is not born of a family with names.
I guess so. Well, you don't
with
know
a last
that.
name.
Hey, peace for chimps.
Peace?
I don't know. Whatever. Awareness.
Chimps should be able to vote. Plenty of chimps vote. Anyways, so
yeah.
Yeah, that's that's not 100% true. I have a few other books I also picked up. Umbrella Academy.
Read these, right?
I haven't gotten around to reading Umbrella Academy, Hotel Oblivion #2, Batman #58, or 7 to Eternity #12.
Yeah. So is that ending soon, 7 to Eternity? Because it was something I really
not as far as I know. I don't know when it's ending.
What issue are you on?
12 in. His
12 in? Oh, I should just get this.
It's
and
so good.
catch up.
It's so good.
I'm sure it's so good. And Opeña, him on what was Remender and Opeña on Marvel?
Uncanny X-Force.
Uncanny X-Force. Yeah, that was one of the first ones I read, and I'm so excited to reread that one too. Yeah. I read that before anything. That was one of the ones that you recommended.
That was one of the first things that you read that I recommended to you.
Rick Remendered it to me. Sorry,
Rick Remendered. Okay.
I'm gonna catch up on 7 to Eternity someday.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, I haven't gotten around to it yet, but all three of those books, excellent. Just
yeah.
I prioritized the new books over those. Anyways,
yeah.
So, was there anything else we wanted to talk about?
I don't know. I just lent Doug Paybacks, which I'm really excited.
Well, you gave me the first volume because you upgraded to like a newer trade, which
I don't know what that is. Is that from the bookstore? You just opened it and there's a note that I never saw.
There's a note from the bookstore.
Okay.
They made sure there are no markings and or inscriptions of an offensive nature in the book you purchased.
Offensive nature?
So that's I can feel safe that
shit. You're gonna hate it with my drawings in there then.
Yeah. This was sent to Samantha.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't think we have a script for the end of this because we didn't write it. So that's kind of why we're
also in the name of trading, here you go.
Do I get this?
Yeah, I also upgraded.
You upgraded?
I also upgraded to the new version, the new trades.
This is the first one?
Yes.
This is the first Hellboy?
Yeah, I have the new trades, so you can have the old one if you want.
Okay.
Also, I have this. You read Sam, or not Sam, Jack. Also Sam, potentially. Borrowed the first volume of Starman from me.
Yes.
So I have the second.
She's going to read it. What year was this?
This was
1993.
93, yeah, was the first mini
for Jack Kirby, H.P. Lovecraft, my lovely wife, whatever. Jack Kirby and H.P. Lovecraft, though. Is this really Lovecraftian kind of stuff in here?
There's plenty of Lovecraftian-inspired stuff in Hellboy.
And Mike Mignola does, like, everything in this, or who's John Byrne?
John Byrne scripts the first miniseries, which is, I think, most of this book. I don't remember.
Can you tell a difference?
Yes. There's it's not major, but you can tell a little bit of a difference in like tone and dialogue.
What they focus on?
Hellboy specifically is written very differently after.
Okay. And what do you like? Not having read both, do you like how John Byrne focuses?
I thought after reading the first one and then like getting the shift, like noticing the shift in the second miniseries, I was like, I think I prefer John Byrne. But then now I've read a whole bunch, and I don't know that I would like say that anymore because I've gotten really used to Hellboy's voice that Mignola gives him.
I gotcha.
Anyways, it's not drastic.
Okay.
It's subtle. Anyways,
I'm super excited.
Yeah, Mike Mignola normally does everything, and he plotted that first story. John Byrne just writes the dialogue.
Okay. So does he do like penciling, inking, colors, everything?
I think the colors on this are not Dave Stewart, just the cover. But Dave Stewart eventually becomes
How old is
the
Dave
main.
Stewart? He's been around forever then, right?
He's been around for a while. I mean, he didn't do the colors in this first volume. That is colors. Mark Chiarello. I have not noticed if they've switched over to Dave Stewart or not yet. In where I am, I'm in the second omnibus. But,
okay.
So you can read that, report back to me when you've done your homework.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We're hitting our trades together.
We tapped our trades together in the air.
Touch tips.
Anyways, one last time, just to remind people. This episode is going out on Sunday, the 11th. Yes. And we are, as of 1:00 on this day that is coming out on Sunday, there's a post that's going up where you can, if you follow us on either of our social media channels, Facebook or Twitter, and then repost our contest post, so retweet on Twitter or share on Facebook, then if you do both those things, your name will be entered into a drawing to win a copy of Thanos Wins by Donny Cates, and Jeff Shaw, and Antonio Fabela.
Yes.
So that's been, again, one of our favorite books from us doing the show so far in our 50 episodes.
Yeah.
And we want to share that with some folks. So
also, I think that Thanos Wins is a great introduction. Like, it's a great thing to put out because maybe someone didn't read it and doesn't know what's going on with Cosmic Ghost Rider, who's going to be a big part of the Marvel Universe seemingly for the near future. So, this is a great introduction to him.
Yeah. So definitely do that. Follow us on social media, regardless, Facebook or Twitter at Comics Covered. And you can find archives of all our episodes at comicscovered.libsyn.com. That's LIBSYN. And we release episodes every Sunday.
Yeah.
We're going to announce the winner for that contest again next Sunday. So 1 week from the day this is going out.
So just be sure to follow and retweet or share in this week once it comes out.
By Friday.
Midnight.
Midnight Friday.
Midnight Friday, meaning the midnight before.
I said 11:59 p.m. on Friday.
Okay, there you go. Then figure it out.
So thanks everyone for listening.
Thank you.
And if you've been listening to us for any amount of these 50 episodes, or if you're brand new, thank you so much for listening. And we hope that you stick around for another 50.
We express our undying love. 100 years of Comics Covered.
100 years of Comics Covered. 100 years.
Yes.
Media references. All right. I'm Doug.
I'm Jack. Cheerios.
Thanks for listening.